What does it take to go from engineer to CEO? To lead multi-million-dollar businesses while keeping work-life balance? Today, we break it all down with Omar Mendoza, a top executive who proves that success is all about continuous learning, strategic leadership, and staying true to your values.
Go deep inside, We are pretty external people that just base in our, we are just based in our senses, in which what we can see. But if you go deep inside yourself, then you can connect with yourself, understand which is the true goal of why you are here, or trying to understand it. If you go inside, then you realize that this is just temporary, that this is in a lower level, as opposed to something higher. And that something higher is the thing that is the north that is going to guide you,
Omar's career started in mechanical engineering, but something was missing. A lack of human connection and real-world impact made him rethink his path. That's when he took a leap into the insurance world, a decision that would define his future.
And I was a little bit reluctant because, usually people who do not work in the insurance field, we have a perception that if you didn't succeed in anything else, then you go to insurance. It's like, and you believe that you are going to be with the portfolio, knocking the doors and trying to sell policies and so on. So I was a little bit reluctant, but when they explained me that I will spend 3 months studying insurance and they will pay me more than I was than my previous salary, I decided to join that company. And it opened my mind, it blew my mind, because the leaders of the different lines of business and areas of the insurance, of that insurance company, provided us different information about their areas of expertise. So I realized that insurance is way broader. It is a pretty important piece of the economy. People are willing to take risks because they feel protected when they buy an insurance. So I realized that this is a pretty important part of the economy, a field that was growing steadily in Mexico. Many international companies coming to Mexico looking for different profile of people. And I saw the opportunity, so I started as what we call a marine underwriter, which is the decision taker about which kind of risk that you're going to put the company at stake, and you decide the amounts in which you're going to put the capital of the company at stake, how much you are going to price this risk transfer, terms and conditions, exclusions, and so on. So it's pretty technical, but I was always focused on the industry insurance as opposed to retail business.
But Omar's success didn't just come from technical expertise. It came from his leadership style. In Brazil, he was sent to rescue a struggling company, and within 4 years, he turned losses into $25 million in profit. How? By focusing on communication and servant leadership.
We decided to move to Brazil. The original project was 2 years, but we spent 4 years living in Brazil, and it was a pretty good experience. I realized that bottom line, all the problems that they were facing in Brazil was about that. It was about communication. Wow. It was about that nobody wanted to really make sure that the Brazilians were understanding. And obviously, as many of the Latin American countries, as Mexico as well, the Brazilians didn't want to say, I'm not understanding crystal clear, So everybody was assuming that they were communication, and it was not the reality. And the other thing, in my opinion, and that this is part of the feedback I received from my team after I left Brazil, it was like, Omar, you came to Brazil in a very humble way. I remember that you told us that you came here to learn, to understand, and to see how can you help us. So that changed our mindset in a very fast way, because the leadership in Brazil was very focused on status, hierarchies.
Yeah.
So when I came and make a disruption about that, and then I went to have lunch with my team, I actually make a Christmas meetings with my team at my home and so on. They were kind of a shock because it's not pretty common for at that time in that industry to happen in Brazil. I can tell if that happened in other industries or other companies, but for them it was quite different, and that helped me a lot to enjoy the experience there. It's a great country, great people there.
That's beautiful. So were you able to turn the company around?
Yes, actually, when I came back, I can tell the number because I am not telling the line of business and so on.
Not necessarily, yeah.
We came back with a $25 million profit. So it was very good because at the time I moved to Brazil, we were losing money.
But success without balance is failure in disguise. Omar believes that real success isn't just about career achievements. It's about balancing health, family, and personal growth.
How did you manage to find that balance, though? Because you were a full-time employee, you were working, you were growing in your career, but then you also went back to school. Like, how did you do that?
Well, I'm always challenging myself. I challenge myself in a sense in how can I be more efficient? How can I stop losing time, for example, in commuting or in things that do not add value for me? I don't know, sitting and watching Netflix. Okay, good idea perhaps to relax a little bit, but if you take like 5 hours, then you lose the time, the opportunity to invest your time in your son, in your wife, in reading books, in studying, in going to run, whatever. My wife said, and I agree with her, that I'm very, I have a lot of discipline. So I try to manage my week according to my goals. Let's say we can focus on doing more exercise and enjoying family and so on. From Monday to Friday, I also do exercise, but on a level degree and more focus on the company issues and so on. But I will say that it's trying to find out or try to lose the less time aligned with my goals that I can,
So intelligent and smart. We all have the same amount of hours in the day. It's just how you invest the hours. And like one of my guests said, if you wake up 1 hour earlier every day, you are far away from your competition at the end of the year. Right? You have so many more days. You have more weeks ahead. Just because 1 more hour that you could be sleeping, you are actually got up. And especially if nobody's working yet, you do so much that nobody can reach you, right?
Omar Mendoza's journey is proof that success isn't just about climbing the corporate ladder, it's about continuous learning, leadership, and finding balance in life. If you want to dive even deeper into his story and hear the full conversation, don't miss the full episode of the Break Free podcast.
That's all for today's episode of the Break Free podcast. Head on over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. Starting your own business can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. Visit davidmansilla.com to pick up a copy of the #1 international best-selling book, Breaking Out of Corporate Jail. Expand what you consider to be possible and reach your full potential. And join us on the next episode.